All right, what day is this? Nobody really knows. But we're going to begin today with an analyzation, a discussion about the world's most interesting programmer, Alice Shattuck.
What is...
So this is where we're going to start. One, right now, for us, it is Saturday night. We are so cool and swinging that it is Saturday night, 7:11 and 53 seconds. And we are doing a podcast tonight. That's what we were doing. I was just outside picking weeds, and I also picked a tomato plant growing out of our patio, and because it's all overgrown there, because everything's ruined. But I replanted it in our kitchen.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe we get some tomatoes out of it. So listen to this. This is Alice Shattuck. This is her idea. Her idea. So we're not sure. There's a lot going on. A lot going on for us. So, so it's Saturday. The reason we're recording...
Why do you hate me?
No, I don't. I don't. But I respect you enough to scrutinize you to the same level I would scrutinize anybody else. So, we're recording right now. It's Saturday, and Sunday is tomorrow. For us, we're got to be up fairly early, driving to Boston, going to the Red Sox game. After the Red Sox game, I'm going to be recording, I'm going to be a guest on a show that, in case this goes out tonight, which it may, I don't want to give it away quite yet, because they haven't given it away.
Okay.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. You'll see.
We're busy tomorrow night is the point of all that.
So the point of all that, oh, thank you, Alice. Oh, you are beautiful. I love it.
What
is this because you've lost weight? Is this because our attractiveness differential is so stark now that you just feel that I'm so beneath you, I must just be treated like a third-class citizen? So Alice,
doing anything.
Listen. Here's number one of Alice's brilliant programming idea. We've been wondering, do we put the show out right now Saturday, or do we put it out Sunday? But if we put it out Sunday, then a couple things. One, we won't be able to react to the show I've been on. And then two, there are some Sunday show things that would have happened, although I'm pretty sure I know what they are already. Or should we do this live right now for Patreon? This is Alice's programming idea, of course, which would give you Patreon people 11 seconds notice that your Saturday night has to be curtailed. If you want to get your $20 a month, whatever it is, a month worth, then you better curtail your Saturday right now. Cancel the babysitter.
What else would people
Cancel
have
the sitter.
to do?
You are staying home. So then this is the best thing. This is why she's the best. So then Alice said,
"Why am I under attack? Is this the attack, Alice?"
Alice said, "This is not. I'm not allowed to scrutinize you. I scrutinize me."
I'm not saying you're not allowed to.
This is because you know why you're under attack, because it's good content. So then Alice says, and this is great. So now she's working. She says to herself, "We need a call to action for the listeners. So why don't we use our social media and put up a poll and say who wants it to be released tonight and who wants it to be released tomorrow night, and whichever wins the poll will happen." Now I don't know how long we're supposed to wait around while the results come in. I don't know which counties are going to come in quickest. But anyway, and that's great. But I like that. My thing about that is, and it's good that you're thinking like a stats and mathematics and statistics geek, which you went to school for. That's good. But once again, both because you're an upscale former boat yacht, and because you're a math nerd.
I'm a boat yacht.
And because you're a boat rat. No, boat bunny. Yacht bunny. Because you're a math nerd, you don't really have. You have Sally's new show, Young Sheldon. You have a lot of Sheldon's human sensibilities. I like how you think that there are some people who are going to say, "No, you don't put it out tonight. I can't have that drop into my Apple feed of 500 podcasts tonight, and then not watch it. I can't have it drop into my feed and then watch it tomorrow. I just can't have that happen. No,
people like to space things out.
I don't want to see that a day early. That will be very unsettling for me. Usually it comes on Sunday right between soccer practice and karate for my kid, and that's when I see it hit. I don't.
Great.
One day too early is no good. So then, so that's why I like that. I think that's interesting. You think that a lot of people would say, you better delay it.
People want their burn barrel on Sunday through Thursday.
Okay. So the other thing is that Alice thought it would be a good idea, and I've got the thing now, to play the following.
It's just our sound check. It's just what really happened.
This is the sound check, exactly. This is really what happened. Now.
I'm just going about my business, doing my sound check.
The most innocent woman on the face of the earth. So, I'm going to give you some context, because Alice doesn't want there to be. But this is... This clip is going to feature in our divorce proceedings. I don't think you're going to need any evidence else. I am going to... So, I'm getting my computer ready. I restart my computer so that you don't hear an HVAC system like other people like you to hear. I restart my computer before the podcast because I don't want any trouble. And there can be trouble easily if I don't. So now me and Alice we're up in the studio. We're doing the sound check thing. We're about to. And Alice says to me, what do you say? Are you going to play something?
I mean, we both said check 1, 2, and then normally you play something. That's normally what happens.
Well, I don't think we had said check 1, 2. Yeah.
We had said check 1, 2. It's in the video. You can see it. We both had, yes.
Regardless. I am... waiting for the thing to launch, the Adobe Audition, as a matter of fact, to launch. So, I not only have been doing this for 2.5 years, this particular podcast, but I have been doing stuff with Adobe Audition for almost 20 years, even when it was called something else, etc. I am technically the radio guy in the room. I would say, of the two, Alex.
Yes, you have a lot of expertise.
So do you think I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know some of the steps that it takes? So that's why you're going to hear this audio.
It just seemed like there was more of a delay than there typically is.
Says, are you going to play something? Yeah, I know.
I was just wondering.
I know from sitting up here more than 600 times now. And always making the things go that make the podcast go. I know how to do the thing. But no, she sits there... somebody who, by the way, when she's in this seat, doesn't play anything from this, because...
I just didn't have your clips. I didn't feel like
they're ungettable. Oh, my goodness. I have a lock on them. I don't... Anyway, that doesn't matter. But she's sitting there in her seat of comfort over there, where she's watching herself in the video monitor.
What?
She feels good now, because she was sick and puking all day yesterday. Now she's all showered and beautiful and looking lovely. And she's lost weight, so she's got an air about her now because...
I don't know that that's true.
She's kind of returned to form in a way, I would say, to be complimentary, and it has gone directly to her head immediately.
It seems to me that one person in this room has an issue with me having lost weight, and it's not me. One person seems to have hang-ups about it and is lashing out in a very ugly way. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at my wiring job for my son's internet. Okay, so you're going to hear her say, are you going to play something? As if I'm just sitting here, with the pinwheel going around, like Alice's computer when it doesn't look like, I'm buffering. I have no idea what to do. Like, I have made our entire living, up until the last year and a half, doing radio-related stuff. As if I'm new to, It reminds me, I watched Top Gun 2 with my friends, and it's like with
your friends?
Oh, my friends, my sons, and it's like the girl lead like jumping in a cockpit and like asking me, "You gonna push buttons or what?" Yeah, I know. I think Maverick knows what he's doing. Okay, podcast Maverick knows what he's doing. Okay,
okay, podcast Maverick. I'm making that into a T-shirt for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So then so once Alice says, are you going to play something? I decide to what level I should be offended. And how freaking dare
the
she?
The look that you gave
it's like
me,
Enrico Fermi's wife saying, "Are you going to make the lights go on?" What did Enrico Fermi do? Any idea? You don't know?
I forgot what he did.
He invented electricity, Alice. So that's like
no, electricity is a naturally occurring phenomenon. No one can invent it.
God. Those are those chops again, the very human chops. All right. So anyway, are you going to play something? So anyway, I decide what level. I know that I have to fire back at that insult because it's both condescending and it's pandering, it's patronizing. It's a sheer insult
I just
to
asked
everything.
If you were going to play.
It goes directly to my entire legacy. Playing something looms large in my legend, Alice. As a matter of fact, that is my thing. Are you going to play something? Have you any idea what you're doing?
I think you read a lot more into this than I meant by
it. That I'm broadcast impotent somehow. Are you unable to satisfy me again?
I think you read a lot into this that wasn't necessarily there because I just wanted to know if you were going to play something.
So you have to know that I had to retaliate. This is self-defense. And if you see the video, it's said in the humor. But I've been, so if you haven't, then you won't understand it. But it is said in humor. Here you go.
Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2.
Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2 3. So that's a sound check, Alice. I could hear you through the mic, and I could hear me through the mic. So far, so good.
Yeah.
Now I'm just waiting for the recorder to start. I know the next steps. I know what's supposed to happen next.
You gonna play something?
So right here is when this is actually a good split screen. I should take a picture of this. Get ready to social media this part. This is when it's hit me directly that this is a condescending, stuck-up, blonde, rich girl, and I don't mean to objectify or call you out for your elitism. Are you gonna play something, farm boy?
That's not what I said.
So now I'm staring daggers at Alice, and she's maybe wondering that if she had
what
said
I
something,
did
she say something? Did those words not serve the surf? Is the kitchen knave upset with me?
It's a test.
Shut up, bitch. Now, first of all, that's more mild than it should be. Than it should have been. I mean, you certainly had a B word. That was a B word level a grievance, certainly. And I think that was an appropriate, proportionate response to your attack.
To my attack.
Yes.
Okay.
Fucking play something. Waiting for something to open. Fuckface. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Although I do like bitch Alice.
I'm not being
I do like it. How I charmingly turn the corner immediately, and I am actually taken in by that. I mean, if you want to be that full time.
I don't even know what I was being. I just.
Well, let's go back. Let's go back to the tape again. 2, check 1 2, check 1 2 3. Sorry, I've waited 8 nanoseconds so far, Alice. Sorry, now she's getting impatient. Meanwhile, she's sucking down her drink because the camera's off her for a second, so she knows that she can be wear a little halo. So every time you see her in the video, oh, she's so nice. I can't believe she's dating Shrek. I don't understand.
You gonna play something? It's a test.
Shut up, bitch. Fucking play something. Waiting for something to open. Fuckface. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Although I do like bitch Alice.
I'm not being
I do like it. I'm sorry. It is.
I'm recording all this, by the way.
Oh, really?
Maybe I'll post it.
I do like there's something about a mean woman I like. So.
I'm not mean. I didn't do anything.
You gonna play something? You don't think I know what I'm doing? You don't think I know what's going on? I'm waiting on the computer. I stand by this guy.
I'm sorry, honey.
Don't try to act all cute and contrite for the witness tape that you're putting together. People heard what you said. You gonna play something? Ooh.
I thought I said it in a nice way.
No, you didn't. Typical condescending, blonde, rich girl. All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to play something? All right. Check one, two, check one, two.
Check one, two.
Let me go into the real sound. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me listen back and then the show starts. So Alice's other brilliant programming decision was to simply upload that clip, the video of it, just to our social media. No explanation, no context.
What's the context, honey?
The context is I just gave the context. My own defense attorney was me for the last 10 minutes building my case for myself. I gave the
So now that you've given context, now can I post it?
Well, I mean, it's still going to be out on the internet. So I got to tell you, it would be a good tease for the show. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, what are you willing to deal with, Alice, as far as fallout goes?
You really think there's not going to be that much fallout from that?
I don't know. Let's listen again. Let's listen to the whole thing again.
Check one, two. Check one, two. Check one, two. Check one, two.
Check one, two. Check one, two. Check 1, 2, 3.
You gonna play something? I thought it was just a funny video.
Shut up, bitch. Fucking gonna play something. Waiting for something to open. Fuck face. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Although I do like bitch Alice. I don't know. Do we put that out? I mean, for you to say that we should have put out with nothing is just simply. I mean, you have to.
I don't really.
I mean, you would.
I don't really get what. I mean, we're both laughing in the video. It's not like domestic abuse or something.
Should we run it by somebody?
I mean, we can.
Although it's a good show tease for this show.
Well, listeners are going to hear this show, so they're going to hear it, so they'll weigh in and let us know if we should release it or not.
Although, if they already hear it, then they've already heard it.
Heard it, but the tape is good. The video is good. It's funny. The look that you gave me, like you wanted to murder me, was funny.
I don't know. You know what? My friend Kirk Minahan referred to a sports lady as a bitch a few years ago, and he got suspended.
Well, but was she upset?
I don't know, but she was affiliated with the station and whatever. Would I be? I mean, obviously, it was all in humor.
Well, yeah, because we're both laughing and we're totally fine.
And I don't think like even when I'm mad, I don't think I ever call you a bitch, do I? No. I don't think that's generally a you thing. I don't think so. I think there's a chance that you call me a bitch more than I call you a bitch.
Yeah, probably. That's probably accurate.
Without merit, obviously. Right? Sorry?
Yes, of course, honey.
Jesus. I don't know. We'll have to think about it.
Yeah. Well, let's see what people say. If people demand to see the tape or not.
But people. I realize that you assume that 7:30 on a Saturday night, everybody's mind is on Tom Shattuck's Burn Barrel. You know, just saying, oh, guess what? Only 24 hours left. Hopefully we can burn through the rest of this Saturday. Then it's Burn Barrel Day.
That's what I'm like. Wouldn't everybody be like that?
Yeah, but you're putting up the show, right? Oh, it's not in the show. That's not in the show.
The video part isn't, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to get... Okay, so we're going to move on from there, okay?
Oh, okay.
I'm going to start with... You know what? I'm going to start with your stuff. Because all I have really is the Bill Maher thing. Which is really our stuff, too. But is there something else you wanted to start with?
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of things going on. But we can start with Bill Maher. Because that does play into some other things that I wanted to talk about. Which are interesting. And things that we've been talking about on this show recently. So everybody was talking, once again, about Bill Maher's monologue. Which, you know, as usual, was spot on, I guess.
So, it's a part of the show. It's like the part after... New rules at the end. People call it this monologue. He's got an opening monologue, and this isn't it. It's the stuff at the end. But I've got it. But I do want to say what's going to happen on Face of the Nation tomorrow in all the shows. Face of the Nation, first of all, is going to be talking about the war in Ukraine and mass graves that have been found of Ukrainians. They're also going to Biden's on 60 Minutes, so he'll talk some about that. 60 Minutes is also going to talk with the Iranian president and them being upset. The Iranians are upset at the Biden administration. I thought they'd be better with the Iran deal stuff. And they're going to talk about the violence that's going throughout the country as well. And then you know that they're going to talk about the Martha's Vineyard stuff. Mm-hmm. And last time did we record? Was Thursday? Did they kick them out or Friday?
They hadn't kicked them out yet by Thursday.
Okay.
That you talked about it on your Connecticut show, but we
right,
didn't talk about it here. So they immediately summoned the Massachusetts National Guard,
right,
who removed them to a military base, which I'm not totally sure is what good, well-meaning liberals are supposed to do with migrants in the country waiting for their court date to see if they're here legally or not. I'm not totally sure that's what you're supposed to do, because I happen to have a memory longer than 3 seconds, unlike most liberals. And I remember when Biden's DOJ was threatening to investigate Greg Abbott for using the Texas National Guard at the border and saying that was terrible. Like, the DOJ was going to come after them for it. But when Massachusetts uses the National Guard, that's like the humane, nice thing to do, I guess. So I don't really understand. The whole thing has been so nuts. I mean, it's great, because it puts the focus on the border, which is a disaster and a mess, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen some criticisms of this coming from the right. I don't know if you've seen this. But
I have, yeah.
But like Carrie Lake was criticizing this. Did you see that?
No.
And a bunch of people I've seen on the right have kind of been saying...
But that makes sense. She's in Arizona, right?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
So how so?
Because there's a huge Hispanic population.
No, well, she wasn't criticizing it in that sense.
Oh.
She was criticizing it, and this is an argument that I've seen on the right, saying essentially it's not a win for us to be moving more illegal immigrants further into the country. Governors shouldn't be facilitating welcoming immigrants. And shouldn't be criticizing the left. And shouldn't be criticizing the left for not being welcoming enough toward immigrants. Right? That the only good policy is say none of you should come, and anything else is like essentially a betrayal of a closed border. So that's where she's coming from. She said they should be shipped out, which of course Abbott and DeSantis have tried to do and gotten shut down by the Biden administration, saying you're not allowed to ship people out of the country, essentially. So they're saying, fine, we'll ship them somewhere else to you.
Right. Yeah, I think that Carrie Lake argument is very weak. Very weak. I think that the dividends paid out in pure
attention to the issue. I mean,
exactly, and attention to the issue. And I mean, progressives are doing a really, really good job and have for the last 10 years. Really starting, I guess, with Obama, so it's maybe more than 10 years, with really branding themselves as the elites. There ain't nothing lunch pail about these people, and this was a beautiful. There is so much great footage of these Martha's Vineyard people with their expensive $500 but graying jeans and comfortable ladies' hats and etc. waving to the immigrants goodbye
as they load them on the
fantastic.
buses with the National Guard.
Hey, beautiful smiles. Ti amo. Oh, bye. See you. Have fun at camp. Go. Bye.
Enjoy the military base.
Keep this open for me, please, folks.
They're running alongside the buses, saying goodbye to Maria. Jeez. Weren't they wonderful? Have you ever seen...
Just like you and me.
Have you ever seen... Oh, if you haven't, we need to. Have you ever seen the movie 6 Degrees of Separation?
No.
It's fantastic. It was a play first, and then it was a movie, and it was actually Will Smith's first big movie. Mid-level movie anyway. But it's a great movie. And what it is there's this... a rich couple, like in the Upper East Side of New York. He's an art dealer, she's a socialite, whatever. And their son goes to Harvard, and anyway, they are desperate. They're one, they've got to he's got to sell some more $1 million of art, or else he's going to lose all his money. So they're desperate. They're desperately clinging to elitist status, but they're very effete. They drink the right wine. They've got the right friends. They're all up and very progressive as well.
Yeah.
And whatever. And they desperately want to not only get rich, but show how good they are at people. And anyway, on their door knocks Will Smith, who's putting Alice is drinking a beer right now. You won't see because she cuts around it. Will Smith comes, and he's this effete young man who tells them that he's the son of Sidney Poitier. And he says that he went to college, goes to college with their son, and can he stay for the night? And they say sure, and they're thrilled. They're absolutely thrilled. They've got a young black man who's very effete, intelligent, handsome. He's so perfect in every single way, and he knows their son, and he charms him to the point where they then invite friends and dinner party guests over because they've got this new exhibit here. And he's wonderful. And as it turns out, the whole movie shows, eventually you find out that the whole thing's a grift on the part of Will Smith. He sees the easy marks, and he's like, all right, this is going to be easy. I know these people. But it's a great movie. But that's what this is. That's what this is. This was such a fun project for these people. Remember the few days we had the migrants here? And all the selfies they took with them and things like that?
Right. Meanwhile, there actually is a crisis. So there was so much criticism. Can you imagine them just dumping them in a street where they know nobody? But that's actually the official policy of the Biden administration right now. What is happening right now in cities like El Paso is they're just releasing migrants onto the street in El Paso with no home. I mean, like, they're starting to live in tent cities there. The people because they're doing this this pretrial release thing where they can't process everybody's asylum claims. So a bunch of people are saying, like, they're not illegal immigrants because they've applied for asylum, which is legal. Well, yeah, they've applied for asylum, but there are so many spurious asylum claims because you have to meet very specific requirements to get asylum in the United States. It's not just like everybody who shows up gets asylum. The problem is we're so overburdened at the border because we're letting so many people come here that we're not able to process everybody's asylum claims in a timely way. So we're just letting them go with a court date. Now, I did hear that some of these migrants who are at Martha's Vineyard have court dates like in LA, right? Which obviously they weren't going to be able to make those. It's not clear to me how they would have made those court dates from the streets of El Paso or Florida.
The court dates could be back months, can't they?
Yeah, no, totally. But, because I saw leftists saying, like, this was a ploy to get them to miss their court dates so that they would, like anybody has the time for that. That's not what it is. It's literally...
but also, they're going to miss their court dates anyway. Let's be honest here. A great many of them are going to miss their court dates.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the best estimates I've seen are maybe like half of them will miss their court dates. Yeah. And it's going to vary a lot, too. Whatever. Anyway, the point is that nothing bad happened to this group of people. And this generated huge attention to an issue that is really, really good for Republicans to be talking about and really, really bad for the Biden administration and hence Democrats to be talking about, which I think is like the critical thing. The other thing I've seen, have you seen the left comparing this to the reverse freedom rides? Have you even heard of this?
Yeah, the Southerners sent up black people to
started trying to send black people. No, it was like 200 people total. They tried to, which like they're like, see, they're imitating the reverse freedom rides that the white supremacists, which I hadn't even heard of this, to be honest with you. Right. And like, I don't think that's what DeSantis and Abbott were going for.
Yeah, well, those freedom rides were, descendants of American slaves.
Who lived in these places and had ties to the places, not random people who just showed up here this second and have as much ties to Martha's Vineyard as they do to El Paso or Florida or anywhere else. Right. They have no ties to anything here. That's the point of this discussion, is that why is it only El Paso? Why is it only these cities right on the border? Why is it only Uvalde that have to deal with a bunch of people living on their streets as migrants? And, there's also been a lot of patting themselves on the back from the people of Martha's Vineyard and Massachusetts in general. We didn't even get to this on our last Thursday show either, but they raised $40,000 on GoFundMe, which now that they've
I read the whole thing. So I read the whole thing Thursday. It's 43,196 right now by Sarah Goulet. And the whole thing spelled out where she was going to spend the money.
Right.
That's all been deleted.
Yeah, because she's not going to spend the money.
She's not giving the money back.
No, of course not.
She's going to hold on to the money.
So they've sent the migrants away now with the National Guard to the military base, and they're keeping the $40,000 to care for the migrants.
Right. And by the way, Sarah Goulet is precisely a 6 degrees of separation daughter, Ivy League daughter. She's precisely who you think it was. Precisely. By the way, we should probably make a note of Rich Lowry posted a part of the Washington Post piece on this. Said he had awakened before 7 that morning, his second full night of sleep after weeks of getting little. After the initial shock of landing not in Boston, Washington, D.C., or New York, as most of the migrants had expected, Aguero began to relax. The island was beautiful. He was safe, and so was his wife, Maria. After 2 months of danger, he could breathe.
Yeah, seems like it worked out well for everybody. There's also a news clip of a reporter saying that they were all happy to be there and thanking Ron DeSantis for sending them. So I don't see what the problem is. Nobody should be upset here. The only reason liberals are upset about this is because it makes them look really, really bad. And it emphasizes that the border is not closed in any way, shape, or form, and that a tiny percent of the huge problem... 8,000 people are entering the country a day. That are interactions that we're meeting, right? So that means that this is less than 1% of the people that come across our border every single day, and it's calling attention to that problem, right? It's showing the immense amount of effort it takes to deal with like a tiny, tiny percentage of that flow of people across the border. This is a big deal, and it's something that needs to be dealt with. And the Biden administration has gotten off topic on this issue with the border, but it needs to be pointed out because it is a humanitarian crisis.
Yeah.
What's going on at the border.
Oh, totally.
I'm here to Martha's Vineyard. So there's activists here, Jose, that are saying that these people were victims of human trafficking. They want an investigation from the Justice Department onto what Governor DeSantis is doing, what Governor Greg Abbott is doing, because they're saying that these people are being abused and used to bring a border crisis deeper into the country. Now, I can tell you they are not angry at Ron DeSantis. They are actually thanking him for having brought them to Martha's Vineyard, where they were very well received. But other people, well, they're saying they're being used as political pawns. They don't resent it for now. And they know they're the lucky ones. I'm here to Martha's Vineyard. So
Yeah, no. So, they are the lucky. This is less than 1% of the people that cross the border every day. And this is what we're dealing with. And by the way, these people were human trafficked, but it wasn't by Ron DeSantis. It was by the coyotes that Joe Biden has been encouraging to bring people across the border. This is a huge, huge problem. It's cruel to the migrants. It's cruel to the people who live in these border towns on both sides of the border. There are massive problems with this. Mexico, by the way, has made changes to the way they treat Venezuelan papers because they've had such a problem with people crossing the border, which has only made it more dangerous for Venezuelans trying to come to the United States. This whole thing is a mess. We seriously, seriously need immigration reform. And the more attention that can be shined on this issue, the better, in my opinion. Anyway, we should get to Bill Maher before we run out of time for the regular listeners and move to the Patreon show.
That's another thing that we've got to do is we got the chat. Do we do that tonight? Because it's Saturday. People haven't had another chance to... What do we do? My goodness. All right. Also, did you want to bring some attention to the title of the last uploaded podcast?
Calling Their Oak Bluff. Brilliant title by Tom Shattuck.
Was it lauded at all?
It was lauded. Praised by...
God, you are a cold witch.
What?
Sorry about that. It wasn't about you for 1 second,
It
Al.
wasn't...
Believe me, once again, I do like this. I do like the cold ice queen, too.
I haven't done anything to anybody. I'm totally innocent in this.
All right.
What's the problem over there? Are you going to play Bill Maher?
What the frig is this?
What the frig is what?
Leslie tweeted that it was a good thing, good title.
Yes.
So I said I retweeted her and said, "You're a great woman." She said, "I wish this was a pure sentiment from you, Tom. but I just heard that there was some debate about that title, and so you're just happy I took your side. You underhanded, vile vixen.
What
are you doing? Toxic. Once again, it's attractive, too. Okay.
I haven't done anything to
No, never. I don't know where she heard that there was a... Yeah, well, before you're too impressed, Leslie, you should know there was some debate about it.
It's not what happened.
All right. Okay, let's go to Bill Maher. Good job filling out.
Sometimes I'm scared to say anything because I get attacked.
And finally, new rule, you can get creative with a novel, a TV show, or a movie, but history books, that's not supposed to be fan fiction. How we teach our kids history has become a big controversy these days, with liberals accusing conservatives of wanting to whitewash the past, and sometimes that's true. Sometimes they do. But plenty of liberals also want to abuse history to control the present. And last month, a scholar named James Sweet caught hell for calling them out for doing just that. He criticized a phenomenon known as presentism, which means judging everyone in the past by the standards of the present. It's the belief that people who lived 100 or 500 or 1,000 years ago really should have known better.
Oh, my volume wasn't up very loud on my computer.
Which is so stupid. It's like getting mad at yourself for not knowing what you know now when you were 10. Stupid me, spending all that time raising sea monkeys and playing with slot cards and jerking off to a Playboy in the barn. Who doesn't have moments from your past that make you cringe? Who hasn't said, I can't believe I said that? I can't believe I wore that. I can't believe I thought that. I can't believe I did that. You ate dirt. You wanted to be a Ghostbuster. You shoplifted gum.
Did that.
Wanted to be a Ghostbuster or shoplifted gum?
There was a lot of white breakdancing happening. Alice, how many times did you shoplift gum?
I've never shoplifted.
Ever?
Anything. What? I've never shoplifted. I'd be too scared.
You wanted to marry Scott Baio. I read Ayn Rand. I smoked. I was into numerology. Yes, because we hadn't then grown into the persons we would become. And humanity writ large is just the collective version of that. Did Columbus commit atrocities? Of course. But people back then were generally atrocious. Everybody who could afford one had a slave, including people of color. The way people talk about slavery these days, you'd think it was a uniquely American thing that we invented in 1619. But slavery throughout history has been the rule, not the exception. The Sumerians, the Egyptians, the Greeks, Romans, the Arabs, British, the early Americans, all the way up through R. Kelly.
Good job.
The Holy Bible is practically an owner's manual for slaveholders. The word slave comes from Slav, because so many Slavic people were enslaved, and they're as white as the Hallmark Channel. Who do you think gathered the slaves from the interior of Africa to sell to slave traders? Africans, who also kept their own slaves. We're a species prone to making others of our species our bitch. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Humans are not good people. And the capacity for cruelty is a human thing, not a white thing. That's the truth, even though it doesn't jibe with the current narrative. But in today's world, when truth conflicts with narrative, it's the truth that has to apologize. Being woke is like a magic moral time machine where you judge everybody against what you imagine you would have done in 1066, and you always win.
Exactly.
Presentism. Yeah, this professor is right. It's just a way to congratulate yourself about being better than George Washington because you have a gay friend and he didn't. But if he was alive today, he would too. And if you were alive then, you wouldn't. Portland Public Schools has a plan now to teach kids that the idea of gender being mainly binary was brought here by white colonizers. The curriculum guide says, when the United States was colonized by white settlers, their views around gender were forced upon the people already living here. Not even Star Trek would try that story. Where they discover a planet and give them separate bathrooms. It's like they finally discovered a unified theory of wokeness, incorporating all their ideas about race, gay, gender, and colonizers, like the New World was a great big diverse dance club and the Pilgrims were the bridge and tunnel crowd who came in and ruined everything. There's a play called I, Joan, currently being presented in London, written by Charlie Josephine, who identifies as non-binary and uses they, them pronouns. And it portrays Joan of Arc as, surprise, non-binary with they, them pronouns. Which, if you think about it, makes even less sense because Joan, being French, spoke a language where every noun is masculine or feminine. Joan says in the play, I'm not a girl, I don't fit that word, as if she's a character on Euphoria.
Knocking his own network shows, by the way.
Is it?
Euphoria is an HBO
Now,
show.
it's true, Joan of Arc did wear pants, but that's what the soldiers wore, and she was soldiering. But in the retelling, Joan would rather die than stop wearing men's clothing. Okay, Joan of Arc wasn't executed by the fashion police. Her trial went on for over 2 months. We have the transcript. And not once did she complain about being misgendered. She had bigger fish to fry, like herself. Too soon, it was 1431. Which is not to say that there isn't truth to the old rubric that history is written by the winners, and it is subjective. Napoleon said history is just a fable we all agree on. And he should know because he was a deaf woman named Diane. But it's also true that much of history is indisputably factual because we have artifacts and coins and birth records and archaeology, and somebody in Mesopotamia kept a record of how much grain they ate. It's not all up in the air to change or delete or make up based on what makes you feel better today. A couple of years ago, they made a movie called The Aeronauts about the scientists who broke the record for the highest altitude in a balloon. In fact, they were both men, but the movie made one of them a woman because, as the director explained, representation is important. So true. Women never get enough credit for the things they didn't do. I think Meryl Streep should play Seabiscuit so every girl will know she too can grow up to be a racehorse. All right.
Well, there you go. And that's obviously spot on.
Spot on. Fits with a lot that we've talked about on this show, including like about the Native American raids on colonists and all this stuff. And the attempts of people right around us to try and like whitewash that and make that into something that's not, no, the colonists were mean. They were actually.
To add context, it starts out, yeah, the guy, one of the guys here in town responded to me and said, the more information, the better. It's like, no, okay, then where should we start then?
Yeah.
Where do you want to start? Can we start at some of the massacres of the Indians on the Indians before the baddies got here? Can we start there or no? We can't start there? No.
We can't start with that. No.
That's right.
That would be bad. So, yeah, but his point about like the way things are portrayed in pop culture and it like having to fit this narrative that the left has is completely spot on. And like you're seeing it so much right now with this movie that's coming out this month called The Woman King. Have you heard of this?
No.
So The Woman King is it's basically it's like based on this tribe that had this warrior group of all women in Africa. So you can imagine it's like the combination wokeness, girl power. African tribes were so accepting of women, whole deal. All of it. So this is being a very celebrated movie. It's written by 2 white women, obviously, but it features like a ton of black actors and all this stuff. And among other things, among other things, it like implies that this kingdom was hesitant about doing the slave trade. Like they had mixed feelings about it. But anyway, the king that's portrayed in this movie, who's called Gezo of the Kingdom of Dahomey.
It seems so much wrong with both of those things you just said.
It's true.
Gezo from the Kingdom of Dahomey. It sounds like in Living Color from 1990.
No, it's not. This is true. So anyway, here's his actual like bio from Wikipedia. If you go look him up, he ruled the kingdom from 1797 to 1818 as a king through a coup with assistance of the Brazilian slave trader Francisco Felix de Souza. He ruled over the kingdom during a tumultuous period punctuated by the British blockade of ports in order to stop the Atlantic slave trade. He dealt with significant domestic dissent and pressure from the British to end the slave trade. He promised to end the slave trade in 1852, but resumed slave efforts in 1857 and 1858. And then if you look, as a part of the British campaign to abolish slavery, the British government began putting significant pressure on Gezo in the 1840s to end the slave trade. Gezo responded to these requests by emphasizing he was unable to end the slave trade because of domestic pressure and instead proposed an expansion of palm oil trade. His domestic support shifted as well, blah, blah, blah. Martin Meredith quotes Gezo telling the British, "The slave trade has been the ruling principle of my people. It is the source of their glory and their wealth. Their songs celebrate their victories, and the mother lulls the child to sleep with notes of triumph over an enemy reduced to slavery."
So a source of glory, like that, you could say that's a nuanced statement. The source of wealth, not so much. That's very transactional.
The mother lulls the child to sleep with notes of triumph over an enemy reduced to slavery.
Good. I'm going to go see the movie.
Not only that, they practiced human sacrifice. And the British didn't like that either. They kept trying to get them to stop, but they were just like really into human sacrifice, including sacrificing lots of slaves. And at his death, the estimates vary, but hundreds, maybe over 1,000 people were sacrificed as a tribute when he died as a part of his funeral celebration. So
I celebrate them.
Really wonderful people, as you can see. Where do we start history again? It's only the girl power African woman warrior tribe, right, that we are celebrating. Anyway, thank you so much for listening.
We'll do the Shat Chat the next show.
We'll do the Shat Chat the next show, so that'll probably be...
Thank you for relaying that out.
Monday.
Do you want to say a mea culpa for your actions earlier in the day?
I'm so sorry.
Thank you for finding the space to be big enough to apologize.
I apologize.
I appreciate that. You are forgiven.
Thank you. See, that's how it's done, everybody. You can talk to us on Twitter at BurnBarrelPod, Facebook.com/BurnBarrelPodcast. Write us an email, BurnBarrelPodcast@gmail.com, and find the Shat Chat to leave those messages at BurnBarrelPodcast.com.
C'est la vie.